Northwest Olympian Tonya Harding.
Everybody said, where's the triple axel? Where's the triple axel?
And the coach who made her a winner.
I'd never coached a 3-year-old.
Is it difficult to work with Tonya Harding?
Oh, sure. I'm sure it is. So why? I don't like it.
A world-class skater who earned the spotlight and a reputation.
Most people feel that Tonya was not doing a good sport. A little rebel. If somebody wants to know something about me, they should ask me themselves.
She's a winner.
Tonight, Northwest Reports profiles Tonya Harding.
Here, whether she tries it or not. Good girl! Oh, isn't that great? The first time an American, only Midori Ito has completed a triple axel in competition. Oh, how nice! How terrific!
Well, she's written a little history, and she still has 3 minutes left in this routine. Tonya Harding.
She looks thrilled.
Everybody says, where's the triple axel? Where's the triple axel? I'm just like, well, it'll be there. Don't worry.
19 years have passed since Tonya Harding first strapped on a set of ice skates.
We were at Lloyd Center with my parents, and I looked over and I saw the people skating down there. I said, I want to do that. And they said, no, no, no. Finally, they gave in because I was crying, and they took me down there, and I did it.
Once Tonya learned the basics, her mother set out to find the best coach available.
Her mother didn't want to take no for an answer.
Diane Rawlinson has been involved in competitive figure skating for 40 years.
And so she sent Tonya out, and Tonya skated circles around myself and my competitive skaters and was constantly underfoot and in the way. Diane says, well, I don't usually take young skaters, and I went down and I skated circles around her and drove her nuts. I figured the only way that I could control our training situation was to coach her. Finally, she said, okay, I'll take her. You know, we'll take her on a trial basis. And she was wonderful. So, I did double axel. Oh, good. Let's see another one. As a child, we couldn't get Tonya off the ice. She would wear her skates to the supermarket. She would do her jumps down the aisle. She would break down a pair of boots in a month because she would never take her skates off. The only time she would get off the ice was when the Zamboni, the ice cleaning machine, would come out to clean the ice. Just right.
Tonya took her first lesson on November 12th, her birthday. The following August, at the age of 4, she entered and won her first figure skating competition.
Tonya Harding out of Portland, Oregon, where she's a junior high school student, and she begins this final competition in 5th place.
That's right, Jim, and she's so exciting. She was first in the short program yesterday. Her free skating is really her strong point. Big double axel, nice height, moved well across the ice.
The next years were heady ones. Chosen to light the torch at the Oregon State Games in 1987, she seemed bound for Olympic glory. In 1988, she made alternate on the Olympic figure skating team.
And Karen Kadavi went, and she was sick when she went. And she hoped she would get better. And she did the figures, and then she had to withdraw. And if she hadn't gone sick, Tonya would have gone. Tonya has been the alternate for Worlds for 5 years. What? I don't like it. Well, what do you want to do there? I want to cut the music down. We shouldn't have to do a second double axel in the program there. Tonya, we're not making any changes before nationals.
Is it difficult to work with Tonya Harding for a coach?
Sure. I'm sure it is.
Coaching someone as strong-willed as Tonya Harding poses a challenge even for a veteran like Rawlinson.
Tonya does not like to train her program. No, do the triple sow. But another triple sow. A triple sow without a double toe. I would like to have another triple flip or another triple Lutz in the program. I don't get it. Don't do this to me today.
I think we should just do the program like we said it. Nice, Tonya.
My thought behind this was if we consolidate them, it won't be so hard for you with your asthma.
Why is something come up?
What would be after that?
But then where's the triple axel? Too far into the program. I'm going to be way too tired to do it.
Former Romanian gymnast Erika Bacchus works with Tonya on choreography. Bacchus defected to the United States, bringing only 4 suitcases and leaving behind a house, a car, and a job. Tonya and Erika shared difficult beginnings.
For about a year and a half, Tonya and her mother and father lived in the back of their truck. It wasn't a camper, it was just a little truck, and they lived on some vacant land out in Estacada. Her mother tells a story about collecting cans and bottles and turning them into the supermarket for money to survive on, and her parents were not employed a lot of the time. But her parents both love her very much, and they're both very supportive of her skating.
Rollinson lives in one of Portland's most affluent neighborhoods. She helped her new pupil through those years of $500 competition skates and expensive lessons.
I worked full-time for 7 years just to pay for Tonya's skating. And yes, 23 other skaters to pay for Tonya's skating.
Rollinson's coaching and Tonya's talents led her to a second-place finish at the World Championships in 1991, a first at Skate America, and a first place at the U.S. Nationals, which included the now famous triple. The first American woman, and today the only skater still active in competition to do a triple axel during competition.
It's hard to understand what a Tonya Harding or any other professional athlete, amateur athlete who does well, what they go through. I mean, you have to understand that, it's a very difficult life for them.
Former KATU sports director Steve Arena covered Tonya Harding for years.
I mean, Tonya Harding, when she was young, worked out on her own by herself hours and hours and hours every day in the skating rink, and suddenly she hits a triple and she's famous around the world, and she comes home from a trip wherever, and there are 6 photographers with cameras and lights there to greet her, and suddenly she's in the public eye, and that's difficult to handle.
I was appalled when I saw Tonya getting on the plane going to Olympics, and her husband had his coat over her head. I couldn't believe that they were doing that, and it was on TV. And then I realized that the National Enquirer was there, and her best friend had sold her story to the National Enquirer, and that's what that was all about.
The Enquirer article detailed Tonya's alleged marital problems.
Actually, it was a nice story. But it was terrifying for her. She doesn't think of herself as a celebrity. She thinks of herself as just a real little Oregonian.
And we had dealt, with Tonya coming back from competition at the airport and not wanting to talk to television cameras and really, obviously feeling uncomfortable with being in the spotlight and being in the public eye.
If I have something on my mind, I'll say it. I don't ever hold back anything. And sometimes I guess that gets me into trouble, but... Sometimes that gets me into trouble, but most of the time it doesn't. I think that people like a person who's really upfront and is open and honest.
Historically, figure skaters have always been put on a pedestal, and it's been very much like a Miss America pageant. You were expected to act and perform in a very feminine way. And Tonya's definitely her own person, and she's quite outspoken.
Her coach says Tonya developed the physique that lets her do triple axels by hunting and fishing and chopping wood.
I've never seen anyone beat her in arm wrestling.
And then there was the infamous baseball bat incident.
It was a big misunderstanding.
Tonya says the bat was plastic, and the incident was overblown.
Everybody has bad days, and I guess both her and I had bad days, and that's just the way it was. It was a big misunderstanding, and I told her I was sorry, and we went on our separate ways.
Other problems have been more difficult for Tonya to overcome.
Triple loop jump, and she fell out of that one. She's just not up to her usual self tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised that that cold she told you about, Peggy, was actually a problem.
Because Tonya's problem involves not a cold and not the flu, but asthma.
Her asthma is a problem, and we need to get that under control.
It can affect me in different ways. I could be shortness of breath, or I could cough. I have coughing fits sometimes. I've had a few bad ones where I've had to be hospitalized, where I'd go in and they'd have to basically revive me because I'm not breathing enough to actually get enough oxygen into my body to know what's going on.
Tonya missed the opening ceremonies at the Winter Olympics and waited until 3 days before her performance before she finally got on the plane for